welcome to INKISH, Tobias.
Thank you, Martin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Thanks
meet
for
you.
having me.
I mean, it's a never a shame to get on INKISH when you sent me a message saying that I forgot to talk about the most innovative disruptor in the industry. So you put my expectation relatively high, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, maybe okay.
So I just need to do a
And that,
little change here. Hang on 2 seconds. So first here you are you, and then I will be here, because then my lower thirds will fit. It was just like sometimes when you are trying to be the one-man army of everything, then you just need to be sure that it
yeah,
works.
it's similar here.
So we are ready. Tobias, because I know that you will present something for me today. So before we get started, maybe you could tell a little bit who you are. Because when I checked your LinkedIn profile, it seems that you are not just, you're not just like one company. You have a lot of innovations and ideas and companies on your boilerplate, right? So maybe you can give me a little introduction to who you are.
Yeah, the introduction about myself is basically the same as the company history and everything what we are doing. So you're asking for the whole story right now.
Bring it on, let me hear.
Okay, let's get started. My name is Tobias Köngeter, and I am, together with my wife, owner of the company WirbelWild, which is located in southern Germany. It turned out that WirbelWild is a complicated name to recognize, but we thought it would be a good idea initially. It's a play on words between the words whirlwind and the word wild, in German for sure. Yeah, we have to live with that name right now. I'm coming from the printing industry. I was working as a media designer in prepress for about 10 years when I noticed that a lot of things are constantly repeating, are boring on one hand, and on the other hand, risky to make. Specifically, or to make an example, when you are doing layouts, calendar layouts, where you have to deal with a lot of information every year from new, because you can't take the old information any longer. And I was wondering if we couldn't do better. That was one of my experiences. Another experience was that my wife and I, as creative people who we are, could imagine great printing products, highly individualized, made beautifully, profiting from digitization and using the data which the internet provides us. But we couldn't find software to make that product. And to make it clear, you cannot use InDesign or a QuarkXPress to do some products like that. And one day we decided to start with our own company and to create the software we needed for ourselves. That has been the start of WirbelWild. And because we had a lot of wild ideas, that has been the reason to take that name as we did. So this is the short story.
So a background in, as so many others, you basically start with a need. You can't find what you want already in the market, so therefore you just make it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that is a good. I guess that is a good way of making sure that you get what you want. Is there also a broader market for this when you now? Because how long time have you been delivering your product?
For 8 years now.
For 8 years, okay. So there is a need in the market for it. So you were not alone in that market. That's what you say.
Exactly. But that question wasn't that important for us at the beginning. It was more important for us to have the software we needed for ourselves, because we wanted to be creative and wanted to have possibilities to realize our own ideas. And yeah, for sure, it's better to have other people using our software as well, because it makes it easier for us to earn money.
Of course, yeah. But I was just thinking because I mean, one thing is that you get an idea, you experience a challenge that you want to solve yourself, and you said that it sounded like that you and your wife are like from the creative side. So that
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean that you are a programmer. So how did you
yeah.
go on with the development of the software?
The decision was that I needed to learn programming by myself.
Really? Okay. So that
Yeah,
is how
so
it got started. So basically, by
exactly.
identifying the
Yeah.
problem, you had to get into the study chamber, right?
Yeah, it was easy for me because I have a huge technical understanding of a software, which made it easy for me to learn that. But yeah, I became a designer that can program now. Yeah, that was the way for us.
And how is the market? Is it mainly in Germany, or do you sell everywhere?
Everywhere. Our first solution was targeting the calendar market. We made a small website where you can configure your calendar data. That was our first try to sell our solutions to other, and that turned out really well. A lot of people were using that solution, and made it easier for us to decide to go that way.
When you reacted to me on LinkedIn the other day, it was because I wrote an article, and I was smiling a little bit when you sent me the message because it was not really so much an article about disruptors. It was actually more about that disruption sometimes can come from the craziest places that you never expected to come from. So what did you get out of the article, and why did you think it was important for us to talk together? I mean, I like talking to you, of course. I also always like to learn new things. But why do you consider yourself as a disruptor, and why was it important for you to raise your voice on that note?
I have a constant pain because I feel that we are often too small to get recognized.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think a small company like us cannot provide stable solutions over a long period. And we always have the fear that larger companies may bring better solutions and have more possibilities to bring their solutions to the people, to the market. That's why I need to react urgently when reading something like that. And when there's a topic about underdogs or maybe hidden solutions.
And that was the idea, and I thought it was great that you reached out, and I think it was even more great that you did it just a few days before this webinar, because now it gives you an
Yeah.
opportunity to talk to hopefully a large audience. I think you said to me this morning that you were testing whether a presentation would work. Are you planning to show us what you have done, or what is it? Because I would love to see what you're doing, or is it a PowerPoint or something like that you can show us a little bit about more what you offer?
Yeah. I have a PDF. We have already talked about some of the pages there. We
But I
can
mean, why
ignore
don't you
them right
just
now.
bring it up, and
Yeah,
then I will give you the screen space here, so you can basically, because of that, my friend from Japan
yeah,
that
sure.
didn't show up, we have a little bit more time. So why not just use it in a good way, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's great for us.
And are you also exhibiting at Drupa, right?
Exactly. We have a large stand in Hall 8B. And because there was so much space left, we decided to take Konica Minolta with us and to give
Oh,
them some
you're
of
so
our
lucky that
space.
you brought them along. That's great, fantastic. I mean, they must be so pleased with you guys, right?
Yeah, they're really thankful. They will bring some machines and will print whatever we produce live at the Drupa.
Fantastic. But let's see the presentation, and then we can talk about it afterwards a little bit further.
Yeah. So you should see a page about us that
And
is no longer important.
you
We
have
can
it as
start
well.
with that one here. I was talking about software to reach our goals, to make automizations, to make individualized printing products. We are always talking about the layout process. not the imposition, the layout a media designer would do, a graphic designer would do. And we wrote a lot of software and we're using that over years. And then we noticed that our customers were missing a interface for our software. We had a lot of questions about how can I upload my data by myself? How can I start a job by myself? How can I see statistics about the usage of my printing data? And then we decided to create a system with an interface that contains all of our software solutions. And that system is called ManyPrint Solutions. It's like it's written here, a layout automation software running in the cloud, so you can access it through your browser. And the system has some differences. And the differences are why we believe that it is the advanced system currently on the market. Let's have a brief look into it. We are very open when getting data that we want to bring into a printing product. So that's the first column here on the left side. We can import data which our customer own. Maybe they upload a Excel sheet of customer data, but we can also import data from third-party sources. For example, to fetch geographic information, weather information, image information, whatever you can imagine and whatever is available in the internet. In the middle is written dynamic. Our system is dynamic when processing layouts. We don't work with templates, which you have to define earlier. The system works templateless and adapts layout rules. It's similar like a human would work when making a layout. And we can also make decisions about the layout. So we are very flexible about how many pages a product may have, how large it will be, which colors and fonts there will be inside, depending on the rules, depending on what we defined to be allowed. And on the right side, we are open what the output is about. You can create the layouts as printing PDFs, but also files for Adobe InDesign, also HTML files for individualized landing pages or emails, for example. And we can also create videos and audio as well. Here it goes a little bit into detail to make it clearer. Here are a lot of solutions where we can use data from. I don't want to go too deep into detail here. Here is the step about the layout generation. Yeah, I was talking about that. And the data output. Special here is that we are providing or support a lot of software which is used by printing companies. So we can send our printing data directly into the company's workflows, and they can make some imposition, for example, or even send it directly to their machines. And here is one of our products that we will show at the Drupa. This one is called a running diary and is about running. A small brochure which you can order at our stand by giving us your first name, the language you speak, your favorite color, and an address. And we will generate a whole book out of that. Yeah, it's more like a brochure having 32 pages. And there are a lot of special things going on in that book. And one of the most fascinating things are the route recommendations. So based on the location, on the address we got, we make recommendations for 3 different running routes. We tell the people about the distance, the duration, how far you will come. We even show a map of that route, also in the color of the book. That's all generated dynamically. in front of your eyes. And what is very special, going even beyond that, is that we also create an individualized video for each route, which you can access over the QR code and the link. And I believe it's a good example why we are talking about printing products that have never been possible before, and why we needed a completely new system for that. Here it's written as well. And the solution, I mentioned it earlier, is available online, so everyone can use it right now. This would be the URL. And my last page, that has been really fast right now, is some personal information about me and where you can find us at the Drupa. We will show more about those products, and I bet it's really fascinating to see what can be possible now.
Wow, that was actually quite interesting. I like that the full personalization experience was like so. As you said, that when you have a when you have like this running book and it changes the colors throughout everything,
Yeah.
because often when you have like personalized product, you often have to go and pick the elements that you want to personalize or you want to do things.
Yeah.
And so what is the pre-press for this, preparation for this? Is that like a regular PDF file that you have layered, or is it or how does it actually make it a dynamic product?
Our system generates printing PDFs in that case, and every PDF will be generated completely from scratch.
But I was more thinking of, let's say, the first edition. Let's say that now you I can see I've changed our names. I just changed our damn it.
Oh yeah, now I see.
I'm not you, but and you are. So
It's not that important.
now we have the right names on the thing.
What's in the name?
Yeah, maybe you want to be the editor of INKISH. I mean, you have so many hats, so why not, right? No, Tobias, I was just thinking that when you create the first document, where you, let's say that now you want to create a book and you want to have it dynamic, you need to make some kind of layout, initial layout. Is that done in Photoshop, or is it done in InDesign, or you take a PDF file into your solution and then make it dynamic from there? Because I was just thinking that at some point you need to point out what is background color, what is so how do you do that?
We usually start with creating a traditional product using Adobe InDesign.
Yeah.
Where we define really exact the formats we want to use. This need to be really consequent. And when we have the product and the optics we want to have, we can talk about the rules, what may happen, which data can change, the logic, everything what may appear there. And when talking about that step, we need to leave the traditional layout way, because InDesign won't help us in that
No,
cases.
I understand that. I was more thinking because, every time you change behavior in any process, it's always like, how do I get to the next step without? But you basically say that the initial phase is that you do the designs as you normally do. When you put it into your software, you basically make the rules for what kind of elements that are affected by personal changes, and then from there it starts generating the variable PDF files that you need for printing. Is that correctly understood, or?
Yeah, basically. We cannot use the data we made initially in our system. We need to transfer that into configuration files.
Okay.
So we
But
need
still
to
easy
define.
to do. But still easy to do.
Not so easy.
Not so easy. Okay.
Those are always tasks we need to do on our side. We have an initial step to create that products inside our system. We call them apps inside our system, and the customers can use the ready and finished apps after that.
Okay, so when people buy and work with you guys, there is a cost of the software, and then there is an initial processing cost, whatever you call it, for transferring a design into. So does that make your company WirbelWild a little bit of a bottleneck for growth? Because I mean, you need to have a lot of resources if you have a lot of customers, right?
Wouldn't say bottleneck. We have the initial task of creating an app. Yeah, exactly. We try to make the costs as less as possible,
Sure.
make it easy to start with such a product, and we want the people to try things. That's important for us. The cost should be so small that it is possible to try making a printing product in that way. We don't have running fees or something like that for using our system. You just need to pay what you create after that.
Okay.
So
So
when you create
it's
a
a
lot of files,
cost per finished product. You basically
yeah,
so hang
yeah,
on a second.
exactly.
Hang on a second. It's because my Japanese friend Yasu, he was not considering that we have daylight times in savings in Europe right now. So when I was
Yeah,
asking about time, he converted that. So he should be ready quite soon, actually. But let's wait till you get here. But okay, I just move on very quickly to another question, and that is like at Konica Minolta's and your booth at Drupa, in which hall? And that was hall 8.
Hall 8B. Yeah,
B. Okay.
exactly.
And you go to Konica Minolta's booth, and then they will find you and maybe also your wife there, so you can show off your technology.
Yeah,
And
exactly. We will be at the front. We will be the very first people you will meet there, and Konica Minolta is then behind us.
okay, fantastic. That was super nice introduction to what you do. And I'm, to be honest, I'm a little bit positive, surprised, and amazed that you can learn programming and be a designer and make a sellable product in such a short time. I hat off.
Yeah, thank you.
By the way, another quick question. I saw that on your integration site, the site that you have Atomics already. Were you also at the launch event in Ghent?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I had some conversations at the Online Print Symposium in
Yeah, yeah,
Munich.
yeah. Okay,
We are not finished yet with that integration,
okay.
but we know it's possible, and we talked about that
Yeah,
there
yeah.
with them.
No,
We are waiting for a use case.
we covered the launch event in Ghent, so I was just curious if I
Yeah.
missed you there, but I didn't. So that was
No, no, I
no,
wasn't
no.
yet.
Okay, that's great. But Tobias, thank you very much, and I hope to see you. I will definitely stop by and say hi to you at Drupa, but let's
Yeah, would
see,
be great.
and that's how it is. So and now we have. Yasuo Taketsuko-san here, so I will just play a small jingle, and then he will be the next one on my show here. Thank you, Tobias, and
Thank you very
see you
much.
soon. All right,
Yeah.
bye
See
bye.
you at the
Bye.